All right, all right. Give me one sec. All right, all right, all right. So, I've been keeping up with the Carmelo Anthony trial. Yesterday was day 2, today is day 3. Now let's start with yesterday. Now, yesterday, some interesting discovery information came out that pretty much redeemed Carmelo Anthony. It did automatically place the case into a situation of self defense. What was brought up was the size, as I stated in the video yesterday, the size difference of Carmelo Anthony versus Austin Metcalf. Austin was 6'1", around 250 pounds. That's a bigums. And little small Carmelo Anthony was about 5'7" and 125 pounds. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the icing on top of the cake. Not only, was Austin Metcalf there. Now, Austin Metcalf was the one that, the aggressor, the one that initiated, the one that approached Carmelo Anthony, according to legal definition of aggressor. Okay. So according to their legal definition, even in the trial of an aggressor, Austin Metcalf approached Carmelo Anthony and asked Carmelo Anthony to leave. Okay, so Carmelo was like, make me. Now let's just go ahead and say at that point, Austin Metcalf have gone to find a coach or an adult supervisor. Because keep in mind, this was a school event. This event were students. These were minors. These were 17-year-olds and younger. So at the time, I was and I told that serious that Carmelo during frame because they had because Carmelo didn't have it, and Carmelo also spotted a guy in the tent that he knew, and he went up and spoke to the young guy, the young gentleman in the under the tent or the canopy that he knew. Now I'm thinking about I ran track, I played basketball, I was in the band, and I'm just thinking about my high school days. Even in my high school days, we ventured. We loved to meet people from other schools, other nearby schools. So that was like for them to say, "Oh, act like it's a gang banging situation or something like that," where students don't interact with other students from other schools because sometimes going to a different school means just a matter of a block or two. I mean, you could grow up with somebody and they go to one school and you go to another. That's easy. So y'all can play with each other, y'all can hang out with each other, all of that good stuff. But they go to one school and you go to another. Just as simple as that. We hear about that all the time. So, like for Carmelo Anthony to be under the tent or to feel like it was okay to be under the tent is okay. Plus, there was no rules posted that stated that other schools could not go under the tent. Let's keep that in mind. So it wasn't a law that stated he couldn't be under the tent. And if there were, what Austin Metcalf should have done at that time was turned around, him and his brother and whoever else he brought with him, and went and found an adult to handle the situation. Not allow words. And the words was simply a warning. Don't put your hands on me. Put your hands on me and see what happens. That's how we talk. That's our urban slang. That's our slang. So that's basically how we talk. But the interpretation of that is if you don't put your hands on me, we won't have any problems. Because apparently, Austin Metcalf was very aggressive in his approach. because I can't see Carmelo Anthony feeling that defensive if Austin Metcalf hadn't have come up to him in an aggressive manner and stated, you gotta leave, you gotta leave. Because then, like, I can see the next question would have been, if it had been in a more presentable manner, is, why do I have to leave? Is there something, an explanation? But because, Austin Metcalf was not an adult should have handled the situation. He should have gone to get an adult. It led to the things that it led to. And Carmelo Anthony is not the provoker. Austin Metcalf is the provoker, because Austin Metcalf has, just like they say, Carmelo had a choice. Um, Austin Metcalf had a choice first. Austin Metcalf had a choice first to go get an adult or send somebody to go get an adult. All right, so and they were trying to say that Carmella fled. Carmella dropped the dropped the poker, and because he was shocked, he dropped the poker, and then he ran to the nearest coach, somebody that he felt comfortable with, and he stayed there until the police came. And according to the witness, like, what was her name, the female coach, she went and got him and said, "Don't let him leave." And then she also went and got another coach to supervise, to like watch him. And the coach said he even walked away and left him there and everything. And Carmella remained. The coach said coach was like, "Well, if you because Carmella just told him, he said he put his hands on me, so I poked him." And then the coach, which was a black guy, stated that, um if like, if something happens to him, if he loses his life, then this is going to change your life forever. And Carmelo was like, he's not going to lose his life, because he's not thinking that he poked him that hard. Because it was like, he's not thinking, that's what fear and anxiety and stuff like that does to you. He blacked out, as we say, right? All right, so he's not thinking in his mind that, and so, due to the seriousness of the coach's voice when he stated that, then Carmelo was like, could he, is it, and he had showed remorse. He broke down and he started crying, because he did not intend on hurting Austin Metcalf, period. All right. And this is not to paint Austin Metcalf in a bad way, because I don't feel like Austin Metcalf, I think that the coach, because the coach stated that Austin Metcalf, had been slacking in terms of, his track performances, his football performances, and a lot of things. And so basically the coach had, sent text messages threatening to kick him off the team. So the coach was short staffed and needed some additional help. And Austin and his brother were one of the bigger guys. So he asked Austin to step up. So I blame the coach for putting it in his head and for not detailing out the rules. Like, if he wanted him to basically watch over the tent, the first thing he should have said, in the event that anything come to me, come find an adult or somebody. That should have been known. You don't put responsibilities in the hands of a child like that. So I think that coach needs to be reprimanded, because basically Austin had this, I'm not going to say his attitude, because everybody wants to say race, right? I'm not going to say his attitude came from race. I'm going to say his attitude came from trying to prove something to his coach. We all know how that goes. He was trying to prove his worth to his coach. So he did, went way overboard. So that's why I would say that race should never be a component in this case, because even Austin's aggressive behavior does not state that it was a racial thing, but more or less like he was trying to step up and prove to his coach that he could be a leader. All right. So at any rate, so then it's the poker. Well, first of all, this was a school event. However, it was not on school's property, and it was public property. So even with the tent and everything else, this was public property. It was a park, they say, or a park, or some other location, and which was public park property. So basically, I've been listening to a lot of people, and even black people, and it's just a shame that it's like they're trying to nail a child to the cross. But I wonder if it would be the same if it was their child, their relative, or so on and so on. I understand that Austin lost his life. May he rest in peace. Prayers to the family, and my heart goes out to them as well. So there are no wins in this situation. Period. We have two children, because even if Carmelo Anthony were to get off, his life is deeply impacted and changed due to this situation, period. So that it's not like he's walking scot-free. But on yesterday, okay, this guy by the name of Jake Lang. Jake Lang is a J6er, was a January 6er that got pardoned by Trump. We saw the videos of him being in jail and him being threatened by the people that were in his jail. He had a hard time in that jail system, which he probably deserved. But basically, let me just tell you a little bit of quick information about Jake Lang. Jake Lang became nationally known following the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot. He was charged in connection with the event at the U.S. Capitol, and later became a prominent figure among activists who argue that January 6th defendants have been treated unfairly by the justice system. And let me just talk about that. The Weaponization Act is basically designed, because they say it's welcome to anybody who's impacted, who was impacted during the previous election. But the more you get into the specifics of it, it's pretty much just trying to give reparations to the people who were arrested and people who are part of the January 6th. And he says it doesn't matter which political party or whatever, but you got to keep in mind that they're making the decisions. And so basically, not only did they tear up Capitol Hill, damage property, and all kinds of stuff, which cost us, the taxpayers, and also embarrassed us, the nation, and also made us a mockery, and it damaged, it did something like the security. Other countries were looking at us like, if they could just come in there and do that, then how secure is the United States really? So basically, they not only impacted uh the people who were there, they impacted the entire nation. And it's costing us, the taxpayers, money, because all of those things had to be replaced, repaired. I'm sure some lawsuits probably taking place, coming from us taxpayers. And then this reparations, which is supposed to be 1.6 billion, is our tax paying money. Now, we have people who are struggling to buy groceries. We have people that are struggling to buy this high gas. We have people who are on the verge of homelessness, if not homeless. We have people that need all kinds of help in this country that are taxpayers. Yet, when the conversation comes down to DEI, welfare, or any of those other topics, it's like, pull yourself up by the bootstrap. It's that conversation, but you're handing criminals money. You're handing these January 6ers, these convicted criminals, money. large amounts of money. So you're empowering the criminals versus the taxpayers, the working class, the citizens, the rest of the decent citizens in the United States. Well, on yesterday, I watched a video by Queen 88. Um, and because I saw, Nick at night, she had, basically, showed glimpses when she goes outside to do a little reporting and different things like that of like the protesters and different things being outside, right? But on yesterday, it looks like when Nick showed it was small groups, when Queen 88 showed it was small groups. The difference is Jake showed up. Now, this is not Jake's first rodeo. Now, they say that Jake is from Florida. Okay, also claims of Arkansas. But at any rate, he has a tour bus. He tries to recruit people for his tour bus. He's a conservative, conservative. And he's out there in front of the police because the police knew to come outside during the whole time. They were basically chilling. The police were chilling until he got there. When he got there, according to Queen 88, they surrounded him. And he said, they're going to give Carmelo Anthony 10 years. And when he walks out of that courthouse, I'm going to unalive him in front of the police officers. That is terroristic threats. And Queen 88 asked the police, why aren't y'all arresting him? And they were like, if he does something, we will. No, that was enough right there. Okay, only for today, this morning, there to be a large corruption at the courthouse before they even went in, because the process of going in, this case is almost treated more heavily than a federal case. No cameras, no video recorders, that sort of thing. Now, Texas can do that because there are sovereign state. Yeah, I got to know the difference between sovereign states and non-sovereign states. So Texas can sort of like bypass some federal laws. Um, However, they can, they have their own laws in place. Okay. So, however, something happened with a vlogger from North Carolina. I think his name was NAB, something like that, NCB, something like that. All right. And, the blogger was basically like, I'm going to pack up and leave because, they weren't able to get in. A lot of people weren't able to get in. There was some type of traffic situation, which the Metcalf family was sort of like, centered around or involved in, and so on and so on. I hadn't gotten all the specific details, but if I come on later or even tomorrow, I will break it down into more details if you hadn't already heard about it. But at any rate, a lot of people were delayed and weren't able to get in that normally show up on time. Some people even pay um, what do you call them? People to stand in line for them. So, some of the vloggers and stuff, they pay people to stand in line, so that they could, be assured to get into the courthouse to get notes. And if they're good reporters, I want them to get in because we all can't be there. We can't be in the courthouse, and we rely on them for the information because we cannot rely on Fox News, which is biased. Fox News is very biased. They say that Fox News, it's friends of the friends, like friends of friends of the Metcalf. So, and you got to keep in mind Texas is a good old Republican, good old boy state. All right. So, and we all know what side Fox lies on: conservative and very biased. So we can't. And if you notice the news, like it makes me so upset to listen to news, and they're basically already crucifying Carmelo Anthony, even after details have came out. They're crucifying him, and I tried to come into this situation looking at it unbiasedly, because it's like if Carmelo Anthony had caused the situation, and I felt that he deserved this, then he deserved it. And likewise, But they painted this out. The media basically painted this out. Media, Fox News, and different people basically came out here slanging race in our face. Most of the black people that I have heard have, like been sort of like sellouts. And on Carmela's side, I haven't heard many black people like, oh, white supremacy or whatever. For the most part, I'm hearing that black people try to be as unbiased as possible, because most of the black people, we realize that these were two 17-year-old children. you know, children. These were not adults. These people had not lived in life. If they had any sense of racism, it was from their parents. But according to like what we had, like according to the actual details, we can't pinpoint like racism. Like I said, even with Austin, I see that coach instilled that type of attitude, that aggressive type of attitude in him, because Austin Metcalf wanted to prove to his coach that he was a leader, because he had basically failed in some other areas, and he was looking at it like, this is my last chance, because the coach was threatening to not take him to the district or regionals or something. That coach is not good for children. But at any rate, um, so basically, once this guy's, like the issue with the vlogger, Jake Lane then said, hang him. He kept yelling, hang him. His crowd kept yelling, hang him. Now, see, they want to lay on this freedom of speech, right? But here's what I have seen that happens, because I debate them, and I debate them is because there are some people in the audience that might need to hear it. They might be on the cusp. They're believing a lot of that propaganda, because they can make a lot of that propaganda, that gaslighting. Because most of the time, mostly all they say is gaslighting. But if you dig deeper, you'll see that it's not true. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring on a defeated attitude towards blacks. They're trying to make blacks, because when they debate, they'll say things and they'll think it'll be in a nice way, a nice nasty way, where they're almost trying to tell you that you're dumb, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're stupid. We haven't contributed or done anything in society, yada yada. Now, even though we do the wordplay, right? We can do wordplay all day, but we got to be safe. That's why it's misunderstood. I have a lot of debates over there, misunderstoods with this, and I think that she's like the Wendy Williams or the Tasha K, and she likes the shock of it all, but she keeps getting strikes, and I need her to realize that every time this guy Tazariak comes over there, she gets a strike, because he intentionally does it. He's from the Panelverse, the same sector that Resto's from, and it's known by several content creators that this is what they do. They go around messing up other people's channels. All right, and they're diehard conservatives. All right. So at any rate, the first day I fell for it. Well, I didn't initially fall for it. What happened was Mr. William came up and got emotional, and I got emotional because Mr. William was emotional. Mr. William Carruthers. And in most of the time, that's what happens. It's not like I can handle it. I just don't like to see other people have to go through it. Like TC or whatever. I'm like, I'll step on up to the plate. But at any rate, I do realize what they're trying to do. It's called race baiting. What they want to do is it's a distraction. And they're using this case because they know it's emotional. Because once again, at the end of the day, these were two children. These were two 17-year-old high school students. And as we know, and they know that it's a very emotional case in itself. And they have implanted, because they need the distraction, because we're coming up on election periods, and basically it's a psychological game, a psychological warfare, where they're trying to stay in power. They're trying to bring back Jim Crow 2.0 and different things of that nature. Like, what we have to do is play smart. Because one of the things I noticed, and I don't know if I want to say it's a good or bad thing, but I've noticed that we haven't seen. There's a lot there. Collin County is close to Dallas. You know, Dallas is a pretty much predominantly Black area. They have some good representation there in terms of their Congress people. Y'all know who they are. I'm not gonna, put them on the spotlight with this video. Jasmine Crockett for one. Um, and then we have Black Caucus. We got the NAACP. Like, where are these people? Where's Al Sharpton? But every time that we've done it, because they hired, he's a part. People have accused him of being a part of the I want to mispronounce this on purpose. Anifita crew. Jake Lang, a lot of them they're the ones that dress up in black, and you think that they're Black people that are breaking in these stores and stuff, doing these protests and the riots. And basically that's what they're trying to do here. That's what he's trying to do, is race baiting. He's trying to create racial emotions. He's trying to create, so it's a distraction. The blame gets placed on certain people and things of that nature. I want us to be smart. We have to be smart, because Carmelo Anthony's situation can be redeemed. Like, it's basically, there's no way that he should get an M in this case. No way. Maybe and I can't even see what is it? An involuntary manslaughter. I can't even see that. Uh I see self-defense all day long. Because everything that they're trying to point out and cry and paint as such bad has already been debunked. And the only thing that they're relying on is public opinion. Like, they're looking at public opinion. So we need more people to step up on behalf of Carmelo Anthony, because more and more people are stepping up on behalf of Austin. Now let's stop with all of this rumors. Like, that young boy wasn't on drugs. That little boy, yeah, I'm saying that little boy. That he wasn't on, like, we can't say he was on drugs. We had no proof of that. Like, all of these rumors that you can't prove, let's not go with these rumors. Let's go with facts. Because going with rumors does not bring about justice. And a racial civil war is not going to help them or us. It's not. There's going to, at the end of the day, there'll be no winners. And that's basically what the elite want. At this time, that's what the elite has been doing. The elite has been drawing these racial lines, because at first, like, when like, a lot of people were gung-ho, these conservatives, until they realized that a lot of these cuts and stuff affected them as well. The FAFO. So a lot of the conservatives that were even, steering away from voting conservative, voting for their better interests. So they got to it's getting closer to election. They got to bring about that mad, angry attitude again. And basically that's what they're doing. But we need to keep our eyes focused on politics, on policies of politics, and getting the right people to represent us. And we need to keep the fight going, but not the fight in terms of a physical fight, because even though the 3/5 of what is it, the 3/5 of um the only way that you can be enslaved again is through creating a criminal act. Okay, the only way that you can be enslaved again, according to the Constitution, is through crime. So let's not do that, people. Let's be smart. Let's take some notes from our ancestors, because it's a psychological, political, legal chess game that they're playing. So let's play to win. So watch out for this guy, Jake Lang, who's bad. Now they got Dominique Alexander out there. Now I've heard some things about him, but like I said, he was out there yesterday as well. He's Black. He's on the other side, right? The Black Panthers were out there, and they were cool. Like they were cool. When Jake Lang came about, they backed away, and they stayed in their safe zone, because they know the game. They know how to play the game. So y'all have to know the game and know how to play the game. Be smart. And I mean, online, offline, everywhere you go, it's about being smart, because there are traps Keep in mind that these are traps that are set for you. Don't fall into the traps. And that's all I pretty much want to say. They said I should pay more attention to my chat. My bad. I was on my rant. I was on my oh, look who's in the building. NAB, what's up? What's up, lurker? My girl up in the building. Mr. Wildem Carruthers is up in the building. Yeah. You yeah, like I got but anyway, thank you for being subscribe and stay alert, stay smart, don't follow the tracks, and support cover actual details of the clear. But I was so distracted by that because I was supposed to go live a little earlier, and that's what took me so long because I could not. I was trying to decide what angle to take, and I feel like but not like the game that's playing. Anyways, I love all of y'all. Thank you for your support. Feel free to leave. I love engagement. My bad, y'all. My internet went out. I'm running low on data on this phone. But it starts over tomorrow. But at any rate, thank y'all. Smash that like. It's unapologetically QI, peace, love, hair grease, and all that stuff, good stuff. And I'm exiting the building. Peace. I hope this. I'm gonna listen to the replay and see if I need to do this again or put it on private. Thank y'all.